Hi, we're the BookToktors. I'm AK Mulford.
And I'm Ann Kemp, and we want you to have fun building community and sell more books.
If you want even more social media and marketing support, plus more bonus content, you can check out our Patreon community at patreon.com/BookToktors. And a very special welcome to our newest patron, Angelique.
Yes. Hello, Angelique, and welcome.
Welcome. Yes. This
Oh,
episode. Oh,
I actually just forgot. We have another new patron that I just rememred. I
okay.
apologize. Yeah. Welcome to Leanne. She joined us patron over the weekend as
Welcome.
well.
That's so exciting. Welcome, Leanne.
I forgot to tell you about that because it just like went in through one part of my head and out the other, obviously.
Our Patreon episode, so it's the perfect timing.
It
Yeah.
really is. We've got some great Patreons too. I have to say, I really love our Patreons. I love our patrons, our people, our community. I'm loving them.
It's been so awesome watching like each of them kind of find their own niche on the platform and creating new content and kind of taking off and having fun. So yeah, it's been great.
And they
And we've got and
also,
we've got some really great questions from them too. But first we're gonna do a little check-in with each other, right? And see
yeah.
how TikTok's been going this month.
Yes. Do you want to start and say how your TikTok's been going? How you're feeling?
It's not been going that good. It's
Let's
been a
go.
roller coaster. I had one video go viral, which was great because it was actually one related to my book, which like never happens. So that was funny. And it was also a good lesson in fine-tuning a video. So it was like my fourth attempt at that video
Nice.
and that took off. And I finally like hit the nail on the head with what that trend was. And so it's just an example of like, if you feel like you're kind of getting a little bit of traction with a video, try to tweak it until you can get more.
Yeah.
And now I think that trend has gone and moved on. And so now I have moved on with it. But I think every month, which I'm sure has like something to do hormonally as well. But every month for like a week, I feel very anxious about being on social media. And so I try and like kind of prep for that time by having lots of like just lighthearted, funny duets and drafts and things saved up that I don't really need to be making content for
Yeah.
that week of the month,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it just, I don't know what it is, but something like ever, like all of a sudden, this could be like a neurodivergent thing too, but like every video I see that's tagged me in, I think is like negative. Every like, thing I'm like, everybody hates me. It's just like, it's that like,
Everything. The story starts happening.
yeah, exactly. And it's a very cyclical. And then 3 weeks out of the month, I'm like having the best time and just like making funny videos and enjoying myself. So I've noticed this pattern. And so now I don't stress too much about it. And I just go like now, like there's like a week where I just don't engage as much and kind of try and spend less time on social media. Because the funny thing is, when you're like anxious about it, it almost makes you want to be more active and post more and do more, which is
Yes.
actually the exact opposite of what you should be doing. So I've just been always very conscious about like taking a step back from that. But yeah, I think this last month it's been really good from a like engagement perspective and growing my account and growing my community. But then also just life has been so chaotic for me here that I've been more in kind of a what content can I make quickly and not really thinking about like being on the platform too much. Yeah. How about you?
Oh boy. Well, I was working with a client not in the author world for the last 3 months with TikTok. And it was supposed to be like a very, well, essentially I had to jump in and do it the way that I do TikTok. So of course I had to go in full in and jump in feet first with what I was doing. And it was a lot of TikTok for me over the last few months. And I've had to put into place, a lot of like little mental health checks for myself. But it was pretty interesting to have the run of the launch of my book coming up at the same time that it was like the pinnacle of the campaign for this client was happening. So there was a lot of social media in my world for myself and for them. And it was, done a lot of stepping outside of myself and looking at me and the movement of things, kind of like from how I am reacting to things on social media to, like you were saying about the when you're in it, you
Mhm.
almost, you want to keep posting, like there's something in it that like I feel like I have really good measures in place where at a certain time of night, I start to put the phone down and I either slide it across the coffee table, or there have been times I leave it in the kitchen. I'm not as good as our friend Rachel, who leaves it in her office. I will get there one day where I will leave it in my office and walk away. Um, but I found myself a couple times, especially like the last week before that, like at 9 at night, just grabbing my phone, doing a quick scroll, and then just stopping myself and putting it down and just kind of checking in and going, okay, what is the purpose? Is this out of habit or do you need to? What are
Right.
you feeding? What is this feeding?
Mhm.
Like, depending on if I was doing it for the author, I knew what I was trying to feed. There was like little things inside of me I'm trying to feed because I'm really enjoying it, or there's, I'm trying to get more traction, or I'm seeing where I need to tweak something, or I'm just kind of riding the wave, or work me, trying to like do what I need to do for this client, and trying to, not wanting to stress, but stressing when I'm looking at something and then having everything meet and like it's 9 o'clock. No, no, no. So it's been a lot of planning for 2023. All I can say is it's going to look a lot different right now than how it was for 2022, because I'm putting some boundaries in place around a lot of it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's true that it's designed to make us feel that way. Like,
Mm.
how many people do you see have a low view day or like not as much engagement for a week, and then they start they spend all of their time on the platform, they're posting 10 videos a day, and it's this kind of like desperate scrambling to try and get everybody's attention back on them. And it's like, you could just continue to post one video a day, and in a week, everybody will be back with you again. So it's like, you don't need to do that. And it's so tempting because that's what it wants you to do. It's trying to like get you to be so
I need
active
it.
on the platform and kind of desperate for the approval of this algorithm.
Yeah, it really does. You can feel the gamification of it pulling you in and
Yeah.
wanting you to be there and to hang out on it. And it's I think from my own tools, my own therapy in the past, my own doing things with meditation, yoga, etc., and a lot because this has been a conversation you and I have had for over 12 months now about taking
Yeah.
care of ourselves in this
Yeah.
space. Because it's been a lot of, because when I look at my own TikTok for Anne, the author, I've been having fun, because even on the days I've not had something prepared to sell my book, I've just thrown up my fun videos. And those are the ones that I really, because those are also the ones that I'm noticing. I get the touchstone with a reader or a new community member, somebody that weighs in some way, whether it's about a song that you like, or a Christmas tradition, or another fireman duet, like whatever the thing is that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's really cool when
Much more memorable, it's like we're not, I think people think that we're fighting to sell books, but like
Mhm.
the really we're fighting to be remembered amongst
Yes, that's a
people,
good way to put it.
like
Yes.
we're all trying to make real connections with people who will want to come back to see us again and keep being shown our videos, and those connections then sell books. But I think people kind of jump over that connecting part sometimes,
They
and
do.
that's the thing. That's why a video about your grandma's Christmas cookie recipe is probably going to sell you more books than
Hmm.
the flashiest, coolest transition video about your book,
You're so right, because it's 2 points to exactly that. One, I've had that really cool thing happen with readers on Instagram and TikTok with this release, where I'm showing up and go to do a post. I get to just sit back that day and just kind of share some things because they're showing up for me, because I've been
Mhm.
doing the work,
Yeah.
getting to know them. And I say doing the work, but I should actually put it investing the playtime into getting to know these
Yes.
readers,
Oh,
because it's
that's such
not
a good
even,
way of putting
because
it.
yeah, it's not work. Like, I'm enjoying it because they're
Yeah.
like, I'm emailing and DMing with these folks. I know what they like in the books. I know what's touched them. And they, it's really nice to have that village and to have them also thanking me for having them as part of my village. Like,
Yes.
there's like that little angle of it. And there was something else, and it already went out of my head because I get excited when I start talking about my readers, because it is like that, seeing the
Yeah.
community start to bubble and to be like, I need to check on so and so because they just posted, like, it's a nice little,
It's an intimate understanding of your readership.
yeah. Yeah.
Like that is the difference between kind of shouting into the void about books and being like, these are, seeing them as real people, not numbers. That's like always the first advice I give people when they start on any social platform, is that they get really obsessed with the numbers and not nearly obsessed enough about the people who
Exactly.
those numbers represent.
And be
Uh,
obsessed with those people, because it's like
yeah,
they're the ones that are
they're
going
the
to be
start
there
of your
wherever you
super
go.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
come with you. They're not just there for the good time. They'll come and hang out, and they'll come cross-platform. They want to hang out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
100%.
it's been going pretty good.
Yay.
We're almost at halftime.
Yes.
That's
Awesome.
my subtle cue. Time for
We
us to
should,
move on.
now it's time to move on to the Patreon questions, because we've got
Yay!
a couple really good questions that I want to sink my teeth into.
We
So,
do. I'll start with the first one from
yeah.
Melissa about the order of testing, because this is
Yeah.
something that we do talk about with people we work with. And I know we've talked about it in a podcast before, but one of the things that both Allie and I recommend to folks is that if you're finding a post that is starting to do well, and you can see that it's got legs, it's about to do something. And a lot of it too, Allie put it so brilliant, it's intuitive. There is some that's intuitive, but some of it with the statistics in your analytics, you're going to see and know this is a good one. So if it is, start playing with that post, play with that sound, play with that cue to make it, to tweak it. And so the question about order of testing things to tweak and improve, Melissa asked what the best way is to go about it. And honestly, Melissa, the best way is going to be the best way for you. And so that is as deep as you want to go into it. If you are super analytical, which we've worked with some clients that write down every day what they're posting at what time, they get right into it because analytics turns them on. They love to hear the numbers. They want to see the numbers. They want to see the science flow of it all. But then some folks will look at a list and it will turn them off. So they just they're looking at it and they're just maybe going, oh, hashtags and sound is what I'm going to focus on, and switch back and forth. So I would say it's as comprehensive as you want it to be, and just start. It's not a matter of any order of anything, but if you need a place to start with music is always my thought, or the sound, because of the fact it was a music app to begin with. I think all things come back to what we hear on there. But that's just my 2 cents on that.
And quite often, if it's a video that's doing well and it's a trending sound, you don't want to mess with the sound, because the sound's probably the thing that's getting pushed out to people. But maybe on top of the sound, you could add better hashtags, or maybe the hook that you have at the top of your screen was like 2 sentences and people didn't have time to read it and it was a bit too wordy, and instead you could shorten it to like a very clear question that keeps people staying for the whole duration of that sound. It's like there's maybe the transition could be a little bit slicker, maybe like the things could pop up at the right beat a little bit better, or sometimes it's just like a different filter. It's like there's lots of those little tiny tweaks that might be the thing. But if you have a sense of like what's working for that video, and it's especially helpful if you have people commenting saying like, oh, that transition was sick or something, because then it's the transition's the thing that's working for you. Now what can you do to add on to that to make that video better? Is it adding different hashtags? Is it adding a different like lead title into it, or a little blurb in the comments? So see what is the thing that like you think, for me it's usually intuitively that's the essence of that thing that's working, and then start to go, okay, and what could I have done better with it that I could play with?
Yeah, I think that's all. That's make your own list and just tick it off and
Yeah.
make it as
Sometimes
comprehensive.
I'll start with the like I'll be like, I think it was this hashtag that made this thing do well. And then I'll use the hashtag on like 3 other videos, see if that does anything. And if it doesn't, then I'm like, okay, it wasn't the hashtag. It was something else. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it
like
was
you
the time of day, you know, maybe that video did really well, but now I'm gonna try and post it at a different time of day, see if it does even better, you know.
Yeah, and again, like with all of this, just have a notebook, have somewhere online, whatever it takes for you. I just scribble stuff on my daily to-do notes if I'm going to do that. If I see something, go, oh, I want to come back to it, because I can't. I'm not a numbers person. I'm not at all. And if I put the numbers up and start to get too deep into it,
Yeah.
I'll walk away from it all. Like, forget it.
I feel like you have different people with different success. Like, you know, like some people have like are very systematic in what they do, and that works really well for them. And for me, it's more like jazz where I'm just like improvising. But it's like the more you play, you know, the more you improvise, the better you get at it. The more you go, this is
Exactly.
why this works. And you know instinctively, like, okay, I've got to add this little thing onto it. And you don't need to like deep dive into the analytics to figure that out. But then other people really like enjoy that kind of like very targeted focus. So it really just depends how you like to work.
Like one of my tweak things that we're doing tonight as an experiment is because, as I've talked to you about, Glenn does very well on all platforms. So if I put Glenn up on TikTok, Pinterest, and Instagram, we're guaranteed to have one of those videos do very well. So I noticed when I was doing When Sparks Fly, a couple of my videos that I did just scenes. So because I'm not moved away from page flips. I know. I'll take the trophy later. Okay. I knew you pat me on the back of that one. But with the scenes, I thought like, oh, this will really hit because there's something about it. Like I thought it would work really well on all the platforms. It's done okay on Instagram, Pinterest, nothing. And TikTok has done well. It has done well, but not as well as like I'm seeing where he needs to be in it yet again. And so tonight we have to finish hanging ornaments on the tree. And so I started the day with like, honey, tomorrow's our wedding anniversary. It's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, tonight will be so romantic. I'm going to have you put some, ornaments on the tree. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick out your top for you. It's, what does this mean? I'm like, I'm going to video you. It's like, I knew there
The
was
TikTok
a
thing, isn't
reason.
it? Yeah.
But I do want to experiment and take a couple of him doing things Christmassy. And then I'm going to go in, find the song that's working and look for the copy that I've used. Cause I know the copy works because I've seen the reactions to the copy, and I'm going to start experimenting with that because but yet finding, and again, I'm doing it loose. I'm not going to be keeping any written record of this. My record is going into TikTok and looking at it. Cause if I get into the numbers of it, I get freaked out. I feel gross and icky. I start crawling. My skin itches. Like, look, we're talking. I started itching. I'm like, I can't handle it. It's numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, we'll go on to the second one, which I
Yes.
will ask of you because you had a great answer for this. This was we were asked how to get people to watch the whole video through. What this person wanted to know what they were doing wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the whole game of TikTok in its essence is getting people to stay to the end of your video. And bonus points if they interact with it and comment. But like the algorithm pushes more of your video out onto the For You page based on how many people have watched the whole thing all the way through. So you want people to stay to the end, which is why you see sometimes like more like fun or gimmicky things to try and like loop the video so it doesn't look like it ever really has an end to it, which is just like a great way of making that video go viral or shown to more people because people don't know when to scroll away. But your first challenge is to get people to stick past the scrolling point, which is about 4 seconds, or even less, like 4 frames. So like that's your first goal is in the first 4 seconds. If you haven't very clearly given them a reason to stick around to the end, they're not going to. So if you waste the first 4 seconds with like a long breath or like hey guys, like they're gone. They're already gone. They're not there anymore. Unless you already have 200,000 followers who are going to hang around for your every word, in which case you can kind of play your own game. But for most people, you want to be like already talking when the video starts. Like you're not wasting a second in silence. And if you are pausing, you want there to be a title above your head that is of equivalent value of when I almost was eaten by a shark, right? Like people are going to stick around to hear about that. When I thought I was being abducted by aliens, like people are going to stick around and hear that story, right? So another great hook, if you don't have like, quite often a good hook is like, can you believe? Did you know? Am I the only one who didn't know? Like, because all of those are like, oh, I need to find out what you were going to say. Those are great hooks. But if you can also do it without speaking, because it is a music app and there's trending sounds, and people will stick around for a trending sound because they want to see what your take on that transition is. So if it's a popular sound and they know halfway through there's a beat drop and something happens, they're going to want to see what your take is on that. Or if there's like two people talking and you're lip syncing, and like, there's going to be a funny joke in that, and you're going to make it related to books or writing or whatever it is that your take on it. But people will stick around because they already know what the whole routine is, like it's already, the sounds kept them on for you, which is great. But you don't have to, if you're not interested in using trending sounds, that's only one way to hook people. It might be the title, but getting straight to the point is really important. And you'll see most people say their hook before they get into the like thing about it. Like, what did I do today? Oh, we had a challenge.
Oh, yes, we do.
In our Facebook group that was to ask a question of our followers. And mine was like, I led off with, what's your backup plan dream job that you have in the back of your head right now?
I saw that. That was a good one.
And then I said, it used to be opening a B&B and now it's having a secret pen name. But so like the thing I wanted to tell them was about the B&B and secret pen name, but I led with a question. And you'll notice as you start to scroll TikTok, a lot of people lead with like, what do you think about this? Or what is this thing? Or, like leading with like a quick question, or like that time when I got trapped in a tiger den. So anyway, I was back, and then they go into the story. So there's like the first 3 seconds is some sort of like kind of, it's basically the same as writing blurbs, isn't it? There's like a hook sentence, the first sentence that keeps people that are there long enough to read your synopsis, in the same way you would say like a fallen kingdom, a dragon exploding, or something, whatever.
It's a movie preview. Like you have to think about the trailers at the movies when you go in. What's the thing that hooks you? The music and the words, like the things that are coming at you.
So like there might be like those 3-word hook or something, or like, what if this kingdom, whatever. And then you can go like, 20-year-old so-and-so was a small town farmer, whatever. Then you can say all of that stuff. And it's the same in video format, where you start with a hook of like, these things that I'm going to tell you, stick around so I can explain, So get them to stay in, and make sure you don't waffle on, like cut it as soon as you've shared the things you need to share. And even cut it like maybe a second earlier than you think you should. Like lots of times you'll see people cutting the video before they finish the last word, and that's effective because people will watch the whole thing. They don't want to wait for you to be like, and then you're looking at your phone to push the button to stop recording and going on. And
editing is your friend.
Edit yourself down to the essential bits. And that can be like, pauses and funny looks and things. Like it doesn't have to be constant words, but you just have to be very clear with like what your beats are, and not kind of have it carry on, because people have 0 attention span on TikTok. So give them a reason to stick around.
Brilliant. Our time's already done after that one.
No, sorry. I
Like
feel
we
like
did.
I answered most of that question. I'm sorry I took over.
No, that's good because it's everything I would have said. Because with hooks for your books, you have to have them. We have to have them in our advertising copy. We need to have it for our social media posts. We have to have it for ads on BookBub, Facebook, Amazon, all the things. You're going to need it for TikTok. Work on your hooks because your hooks are always going to be your elevator pitch to get a reader no matter where you are. And if you sharpen this tool on TikTok, I hated blurbs. I hated elevator. I hated that crap. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I got on TikTok. I can write a blurb like nobody's freaking business anymore.
Yeah.
And I love it. Somebody just emailed me asking about, getting a blurb from somebody from Brian Cohen offers blurb writing. And
Yes.
I said, yes, you can definitely go through. I worked with them a couple years ago for one of my books. And it was invaluable the help they gave me. However, yes, in the last 2 years of using TikTok, I can excitedly tell you, I don't have that issue anymore because I now know what readers want. I know what to put into that description to give to them because I've learned, and thank you to my community on TikTok for that. So work on those hooks because it spills over into all parts of your writing life, not just for TikTok, but it's just the knowledge feeds each thing feeds each thing.
It's such useful information. We're constantly getting new information about what makes people want to stick around and what intrigues people. And so you have like if all of these videos where you're using this specific kind of hook are doing well, use it everywhere on all of the different platforms. Keep figuring out how you can tweak that until you have like this perfect sentence that sells your books, So yeah, it's invaluable feedback.
Yeah, because I took one of their hooks that was using my blurb and it led to an 80,000 view. For people out there that want to lean into views, I'm going to tell you what's
Yeah, we're going to talk
views.
about that next week.
Yeah, come back for that podcast. But it had 80,000 views on Instagram, and I did have really great sales that month on that book. And that was a book that's been out for 10 years, and it's one that it was still because of the hooks that I use. Like, and again, thank you, like giving Brian Cohen an unsponsored thank you on here. But I also won't do that again, only for the fact that I enjoy doing it now because of TikTok. But okay, I'm excited that we've got this next podcast to jump into. And so
we will see everybody for their next appointment next week with the BookToktors.
Thank you.